150 million followers on social. When the president goes after you, what's it like?
So that coffee mug over there, you go as white as that coffee mug. I don't care who you are. You can pretend otherwise. He's disseminating this information in a bullying-like manner to 150 million people. That is last week's Super Bowl audience times 1.5. And so now he's lighting you up on Twitter, and you can pretend otherwise, but you go white as that cup. And so I was at
Even a tough guy like you.
I think I'm a pretty tough guy. Yeah, I've been through a lot of different things. I've got a thick skin, but he is the president of the United States. He's sitting in the office that's arguably the most powerful office in the world, and he's now using it to attack an individual citizen. This is why he got impeached, by the way, because he uses the office to attack individual citizens. Joe Biden is an individual citizen at this point. He used the power of that office to go after Joe Biden and his son, which is a despicable criminal act, but we can get there if you want.
Yes.
So now I go to the bathroom. I'm at Craig's, which is a swank Hollywood restaurant in LA, because I just did the Bill Maher show. I splash some cold water on my face. I go back to the table. I take out my phone and I respond to Trump. And
do
I
you
say,
plan that out, or do you just?
No, I'm coming out of the bathroom. I said I got to respond to this son of a bitch because I'm not going to let it stand. I'm not Ted Cruz. I'm not like one of these political fairies where they get rolled by the guy.
And they're thinking of a future political career, and you're not technically.
I don't give a shit. So I take my phone out and I write, after giving him a tremendous amount of money, countless hours of media advocacy, 3 years of my life, the president is now attacking me. And someday he's going to attack you and the country. I mean, ultimately he's a nihilist. So now I slam him to the mat, and that gets popped up on CNN. He don't like it. So he comes after me again. So of course I fire back at him. I said, wow, you're trolling. You must be losing your fastball. Now I'm enjoying it, right? Now I'm a New Yorker. I mean, he's coming after me. I'm going to come after him. Yeah, I think I called him like Fidel Adolf Trump, the notorious FAT. So I got the fat shaming in there with the dictatorship.
Below the belt there a bit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was appropriate. You know, I got knocked off of Twitter for that because it was like a little bit of fat shaming. So I was in the penalty box on Twitter for 12 hours.
Ooh,
and he can
that's a crucial 12 hours.
Yeah, he can call people fat, but I can't because he's the president of the United States.
Okay.
So I did a little bit of fat shaming. I get knocked off of Twitter for 12 hours. I'm back on Twitter. He goes after my wife. And that is the president of the United States. He's attacking a suburban housewife who is raising 2 young kids on Long Island, who's never said anything bad about him publicly. Doesn't like him, but never said anything bad about him publicly. He's now viciously attacking my wife on Twitter.
Just because that's the next move.
Because that's the next move, because he has no boundaries, and he's a ruthless, vicious, amoral human being. So now he's coming after my wife, so then I just blast the guy. Right? I said, okay, this guy is Trump noble. He's having a full-blown meltdown. I said, the guy will likely get impeached because he's amoral. And I say this in August. I said, look, the Republicans are going to have to make a decision on this guy. He's going to do something disastrous because I'm in touch with this guy's personality. If he's attacking me and he's going after my wife, he's a full-blown crazed demagogue, and he's going to blow up. Okay, so the Republicans are going to have to make, it's like, did you see the Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great series.
This is like episode 2 in Chernobyl, right? The reactor's going to melt down. Everyone's panicked, and they're trying to figure out, are they going to cover it up or are they going to clean it up, right? And then the one guy says, well, we're going to melt the goddamn water, the reactor's going to melt into the water system. It's going to eradicate everything from here to the Black Sea. They said, okay, fuck, we better clean the thing up. I said, so the Republicans are going to have to make a decision. Are they going to cover it up or clean it up? Now, I got that wrong. I said the Republicans are going to clean it up. They hate this guy's guts. Take a look at this thing. He's amoral, criminal. They're going to blow him out of office, and they would take the risk on President Pence. I got that wrong.
Right.
Now, let me tell you why.
How'd you get that wrong?
Let me tell you how I got that wrong.
Okay.
I got that wrong for 3 reasons. Okay, number 1, I underestimated. That's not a word, but that's a good George Bush phrase. I underestimated the civic virtue in that Congress. I thought, like, you know, my uncle who fought in World War II, he told me once, they're going to remove Richard Nixon. He said, because those guys that are in that Senate, they watched their friends get their heads blown off in World War II fighting for the freedom in that document. They're not going to care that the guy's a fellow Republican. They're going to remove him because they're patriots first and they're partisans second. So I missized that. There's a lack of civic virtue in that Congress, but for Mitt Romney. The second thing that I missed is that bullying that I described to you, that white face that I experienced, and I do think I'm a reasonably tough person from a tough neighborhood and I can handle a bully. I was unnerved by it. And so if I was unnerved by it, one of these despicable, principleless politicians would be, paralyzed in fear. They would look like fucking Han Solo in the Frozen thing after Jabba the Hutt freezes them out. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So I underestimated how intimidating he is to a group of cowards. And then the third thing is the saddest thing, is that personal preservation and the maintenance of power. The power is so seductive. The maintenance of that personal power is uber alles. It's more overwhelming to these people than their flag and the document and the patriotism and the rule of law that keeps us all safe. And so they've allowed this one despicable human being to be above the rule of law in the United States. And so now God help us, because it's going to be a reckless fiasco. And he'll do anything to win re-election. And so you pointed out earlier that he's got a good hand, and I agree with that. He has a very good hand. If you look at the economy, the way, and I've studied the economy for 31 years, it's a slower economy than Barack Obama's economy. It's creating less jobs than Barack Obama's economy, but I got to tell you what, the numbers are very, very good. And most people, 59% of the people, feel better off than they did prior, and most people vote with their pocketbook. However, he's such a despicable human being that he's real clear politic average. The Gallup poll had him at 49% this week, but his average, he's missile-locked between 42 and 44%, because he's a despicable human being. If he was less despicable and he just shut up and someone took the phone away and he acted more presidential, he'd have a 60% approval rate.
But then he might not be around anymore if he didn't have that weapon, that intimidation.
Maybe. Well, it's hard to know. I think it helped him in the campaign for sure. If you ask me, did it help him in the campaign? It did. Is it helping him in the presidency? At times it's helped him, but I think by and large it has hurt him. I think the ruthlessness, going after your private citizens like my wife, you're creating a lot of enemies. You're permanentizing a group of intellectuals that are your enemies. And I told the kids at Oxford that I will be camped out in 71 ethnic precincts in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania in the month of October. I will be working very hard to defeat them, and I know just where to go. These are all people that grew up just like me, who he has failed in his promises to those people. Their wages are not up. They have not benefited from the economy. Have the corporations benefited? Yes, they have. Have people like me benefited with the rise in the stock market? Certainly. But look at the middle class wages. Look at Steve Ratner's op-ed this week about middle class wages. They haven't moved. If anything, some of them in certain areas of the country are down. And I will be in those areas explaining to those people that he is a clear and present danger to their future and to their children's future. And as Trump knows, and I know, and Brad Pascal, his campaign manager, knows, it's not about staff and money. Secretary Clinton had double the money that we did, and she had double the staff, and we still beat her. But it's about messaging, and it's about ideas. And so we'll see what happens.
And you're going to personally get involved to make sure this doesn't happen?
100%.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, 100%.
Are you political?
Because, no, I'm not political.
This is a political act. Or a patriotic act in your mind.
No, it's a combination of things.
But you are a hard guy for people to figure out.
Yeah, so it's a combination of things. Okay, I don't really know if it's that hard. I'm pretty aware everything on my sleeve. It shouldn't be that hard. The guy has disgraced the office of the presidency. He's disavowed the Constitution. He has perpetrated many criminal acts from that office, including bribing a foreign head of state to do his political bidding. And so all of that's despicable. You add that up to the fact that he attacked my wife on Twitter. That's a very, very personal thing, okay? I'm an Italian American.
Don't let the ego get involved. That got you the job in the White House.
I understand that,
right?
but don't go after my wife
I get it.
or my mother or my sister or my daughter. You shouldn't do that. Okay, so this is not an ego thing. Okay, it's very different. It's totally different from the White House.
Okay.
This is a different sort of thing. This guy's going to really hurt the country. 5 more years of this guy wrecking the executive branch of the United States and 5 more years of this full-on idiocy where he's diminishing the hard and soft power of the U.S., I think is going to cause irreparable damage to the country. So it's not an ego thing.